कौ टेबुलटा कहले आपन कल्पना चंद से
where is the audio machine and why he is not
going to take a break, but
I think he should be there if something doesn't work.
Stick to the time. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes. Kindly you have your options put on the flip chart so that others can see your recommendation. Okay, so we are almost on the time, so kindly put your options on the board. Yeah, whichever group is ready, please raise your hand so I can give the microphone. So please put the options on the board. Fantastic. It's just that they can, when they are asked question, they can refer to something. That's the reason. Okay, so I'm sorry. You need to put the options on the board there. Please, sir.
I think it looks like Ramvel, team is ready.
And same as for Nicholas Tesla, William Hurst is also ready, almost. And this table is ready.
Brent Franklin is almost ready.
Okay, Manoj, I think you can go to the microphone to the Ramvel team.
So I have to find it.
Now you probably have to.
Okay, Ramvel team. Who is your representative? You? Okay, fine. Okay, first tell you what is the problem statement and what is the solution. Silence, please. Okay, now the presentation. Please come back. Continue, please.
Okay, so we are a Brainstorming team. Hello? So we are responsible to come up with ideas. So we are responsible to come up with ideas to make our website self-sustaining, increase site traffic, social media, and then ways to improve use of new sites and forum features to increase traffic. So that was our problem statement. And pretty animated discussions, and I think we have some ideas here to share. So what we believe, let's start with what typically are the use of our website, and how people use our website. It's either for registering at different events, allowing members to renew their membership or sign up for live membership, be able to show some information about upcoming events or any announcements that they make, secure access to alumni directory, and any other kind of message board that may be a host for juniors to seek help or any other information exchange that you want to do, which is of general interest to the group. This, we believe, is a general bucket of items how alumni can use our website. Initially, there was some pretty orthogonal, revolutionary ideas saying, why the heck do we need a website? Why can't we do it in an app? But we toned it down, and I think we have a better approach, economical approach. So the question about self-sustaining, and how do you define self-sustaining as people don't need to hire expensive resources to maintain this content. It should be easy to update. So what we believe is a good idea is every year we have a convention. So starting today, or starting tomorrow, the San Francisco team owns the website, the digital content of the website. So they can start using their marketing budget, right, to create and adapt content relevant to the convention, and also is responsible for managing the website for any other portions which are of general interest to the alumni. This way, every year, the management of the website and content is taken care of, right? Its ownership keeps on passing.
That's a good idea.
So it is not only for the convention, right? For the whole year.
Yeah. So one quick thing. So let's make sure that So these are the final outcome that you have put in.
It's a proposal. I mean, of course, it's up for discussion.
Yeah. No, I'm saying your table is proposing this,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
And let's keep that to be couple of options and then time to 2 minutes.
Okay. I don't know how much of the 2 minutes is done.
You have probably 10 seconds left.
So who does the work? So if there is any changing of content, the best person to do the work would be alumni, a master student or graduate student who comes from India, from our school. Give them the task. Pay a nominal fee, he will happily do it. Right? So who does that? Then in terms of social engagement, I think mobile is the best platform. It need not be an app, it can be a mobile website, but have some way to push content rather than asking users to go to the website. So I think any notification or updates has to be a push. So we figure out a solution for that. On that note,
Excellent.
sorry?
So first let's allow everybody to kind of come up with their suggestions and then we'll have cross questions coming up. Next one.
So we bulleted like 5 or 6 points. Let me just quickly go through that. The first and most important point is obviously how quickly we can engage with students as early as year 1 of the student, right? That starts with college back in NIT. So we need some structure.
That's not working. That's not working.
Hello? Okay. So it starts.
What is the topic? What is the topic?
Topic that is diversify students, increase communication with students. Hello? I'm sure So yeah, so everyone has the topic, right? So increase communication with students. So the idea was, how do we make sure that we have an effective and efficient process in place, an effective and efficient framework in place, so that we can engage with nitrans right from day 1, right from the day when they become a nitran, that is year 1. So with that in mind, we started thinking about how does the process go. The student gets into college, so we need to have something in place so that he engages right from that day. That's early engagement, early connection with the students. And the second is increased awareness of organization like this, chapters like what we have in Bay Area or anywhere in the world. So at least and I think everyone from 97 batch can agree with me that we didn't know. I at least didn't know there is an organization or alumni association. Well, I'm from 97. Yeah. So awareness is important. So we need to do some work around how do we create awareness, how do we have more and more people know about organization like this exists. If you need help, there are people to help you. There is engagement today, but I think there is scope and opportunity to take that to the next level. So there is opportunity to improve engagement. So I think there are so many ideas that we can discuss. So I'm going to leave that for now. Fourth one, so the next step is we divided the student's life with respect to NITROAA into 3 phases. One is before a student actually comes to the US. The second one is when the student is actually a student in the US. And the third one is post-student, when he comes out of college and he goes into the open market for jobs. So during the pre-stage, I think students group here like him, we should have a process in place that should help you connect back to your students group in NITRA, through Students Club, Old Boys Association, connecting with local chapters in Rourkela. So that is all free. Post, so this is something which students like him and many others in this room, you need help on internship. That is something I think many of us in this room can help you with. That obviously can be done. Post, I think this is where the give and take, the give kind of slowly and slightly switches into, the take slightly switches into give. So now you are into employment mode and now is your opportunity to give back to this organization. So that's all I have to say.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
This microphone has to.
Okay, so what's the next table?
Educate students on how to compete in the USA. So basically we have three major points. First one is building a database of the people who are coming here, students, and their area that they are interested in, and a database of all the folks like Jha mentioned, seniors, people in the industry, database of those people who can help in mentoring, giving guidance to those students. And then, of course, the second point is where they upload their resume, the things of interest. So all this, I think, should be in the site. And yeah, that's pretty much it, the 3 main points.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
I think there are some cross functions right here, right? As you said, websites can
creating like a marketplace on our website, and that marketplace will be like two-way. One way will be the students actually inputting their resumes. The second way will be the seniors who are working in industries, and they can actually tell what they can, what are the opportunities in those companies, and that way the marketplace will be built and the students will be open to internship opportunities. The last point actually talks about the mentor-mentee program, where any senior who comes in, any senior listed on the database will say, I can mentor, such and such, and I have expertise in such and such subject, and I'm willing to offer my services. And the mentee will say, I'll pick this senior, and I want to get mentored by this senior. Actually, the mentor-mentee program is very, very essential in the US.
excellent, excellent.
So our topic is develop ways to contribute to alma mater. Basically, how we can help back the students in Alberta. So what I heard today is we have around 6,000 students. When I graduated, it was 1,000 or 6,000. To think like this, in 5 years from now, there will be 6,000 more alumni. It works both ways. If we are going to have a way to help them, it will come back to us some other ways. Because some of them are going to move up very fast in the organization, and if they remember somebody had helped them, definitely they go out of the way to help you out. Because things are different. So the first thing we talked about is a resource. Let's become a resource. Definitely they are in the 4 years, they're trying to understand how the future look like, or if they want to go to higher studies in India, or they want to come here, what is the opportunity, cost, challenges. So if we are available as a resource to them, that will help them to decide the right thing, what they want to do in their life. Then there are a lot of small projects I understood from him going on in the campus, and a lot of times they don't have the funding. For example, he was talking about a car project, but then they need money, parts, right? Yes.
There are a lot of technical clubs in NIT right now. Like one is Society of Automotive Engineers, one is IEEE, Sun Microsys. So I was a part of founding member of Society of Automotive Engineers, and we built a Formula style racing car. And when we started it, we didn't have any resources at that time. We didn't have funding to build, we didn't have anything. We just started from scratch. And we faced a lot of roadblocks, and we didn't have a proper alumni network at that time. I and Astos Naik, one of my senior, we used to work, Sandeep said a lot, guide us how to generate funding for these things, because building a car is not that easy. And on the course source, and besides that, there are other clubs also, like ECEL. ECEL is an entrepreneurship cell where people, it's a management club. So how we can help those clubs is, okay, so SAE, still now I'm involved with the juniors over there. So we have the technical discussions. Sometimes they need parts from US if they're not available in India. So they ping me and okay, I can buy here and I can draft it over there. So that's one way of giving back to these clubs. And in ESETs, we can have like something called managerial talks. Like when I was a student, Dr. Ranjan Das went to NIT and he gave us a talk, and after that the number of students coming to here increased, because it was not that, like when I was a student, like I think 1 or 2 of my seniors were preparing for GRE, but now see like 15 and 16, number of students have increased. So when we're visiting India, we can have like 1 or 2 days giving some talks over there, and like there are Professor S.K. Patel who always organizes this kind of talks, and there is something called social working clubs. Like ASRA is there, Krishnan Mahanti, he was the founding member of ASRA. So, and that used to help during the flood time. I remember there was a very huge flood, and I think 4 years back, and they went and distributed food and clothes. And also ASRA and NSS, we help the local slum students, we teach them over there. So that one way we can invest there. So now like we are talking about how to, like these are all problems, so how we can invest in it. So how will we do that? By networking. We need a strong local chapters, local representatives. We need some student representative who are there, like there is who can communicate with the local chapters over there, and they can pose their problems, and we can organize better networking over there.
Okay, great. I think this is where just 1 second. This is where actually you see the cross benefits that's going on, right? I think you guys came up with the mentor-mentee. I think that's what is going to be pretty much the same thing which influences. I think that's the database that you guys are talking, the website and interaction. So this is perfect. This is exactly what we were expecting, right? Many problems, but solutions could be going into similar direction.
Yeah, one last thing about branding. We need to start thinking branding. Branding, I'll tell you, I have 2 of my older kids are in Texas A&M. My son just got interested just by making a phone call. So, if somebody goes to a company when they are not campus, next day that person is going to make sure that they go to campus. So that's how we need to, if we have a way to hire somebody, we know somebody goes to NIT, how hard it to get it. The 4 years is so hard. So if you have to hire somebody, why you don't use NIT as the first reference? Because you know the background, you know the person, you know how they're going to perform, So that's the branding comes into picture. Somehow we need to go, if we have to select 5 people and you see the name NIT there, that should be your first choice. That's how other companies create branding. And so we need to start thinking in that direction, and say, okay, it doesn't matter, I'm transparent, I'll pick the best. But NIT, there is NIT there, that should be first thing you should choose if other things are equal. So that's kind of other things you should.
Yeah, I think that's great. Thank you very much. So on that topic, right, so just to extend that topic,
so that we can reduce the convention cost. So we came up with some really good ideas. One is basically matching contribution. So many organizations, they do matching contribution. If you are donating $100, they would match it, and if it is a charitable organization, they would match it. So I think many of us are kind of working in those type of organizations. We should basically tap into our respective organizations and get the matching contribution going. Then the second one, I think a lot of schools here do it. They create closed LinkedIn groups, and they provide access to these LinkedIn groups to specific organizations. So let's say, in my organization, we need some good talent, then, we can have my organization come and contribute something, and then, we give access to this LinkedIn group where, there would be a lot of talents and people can look at the profiles of, of people and get access to that. Then the third one that we said we could do is we could use our group. I mean, it's a captive group, and we could use this either for testing out beta products or services, or let's say, manage our personal wealth. Many of us don't have a money manager. I think we approached to some wealth management company. I think John was saying, he could basically help. If we can all get together and get 100K, he can get his company to sponsor something back to the alumni. And then similarly, I think we as a group is a very, very good captive talent we have got, which we can offer as a service. Either management consulting or technical consulting or whatever. So these are the 3 ideas that we thought would be necessary.
Thank you very much.
So the one thing which kind of struck to most of the table is it has to be a sustainable process. It has to be very transparent. It can't be standalone. We have done it, we may have done it based on the need and the opportunities for our people, but it has to be very sustainable and it has to be, by sustainable it is not that the money keeps going. It has to be happening throughout, whether there is a need or not, because you don't know when the need is. And when you make something sustainable, it just becomes part of your fabric, part of the organization's fabric. So we don't have to ask anymore. People will know. People will be expected to continue doing that. The second part, and under that we can talk about mechanics, how you communicate, how you collect money, whether it's mostly use the tax benefits we have, and not over communicate, which sometimes happens and people get fed up. So that's all part of it. The key though is very transparent, has to be sustainable, and once you figure out how you do it, why you do it, communicate that message. The second aspect of that is using funds properly. How do you define? So we talked about very good discussions. We kind of brought a little bit of politics and talked about capitalism, whether it is a purely need-based or merit-based or recognition-based or a combination of all three. Do you just give money if somebody needs it, being other characters made, or you also go seek good talents, because that good talent you seek, but irrespective of their need-based, can do better, much better. So that's something we need to figure out. Under that, the only thing we need to define, we agree we need to define, is that define what is that value. You are going to establish a value-driven distribution method, come up with a set of criteria. What is that value? And that value has to be, because that's linked to this process. Once you define that value really well, what drives our membership, what will compel our NITROAAs to keep this sustainable. So that value has to be seen. If you ask all of us, somebody will say giving scholarships are important. Somebody will say opening a excellence center may be important. So that's something we need to do. And then those two processes needs to be, of course, an oversight process in line with the compliance process where we operate. So that's the governance process. I don't know if my team wants to add anything I missed or clarify. Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
Whole sentiment attached to it. When I actually had the touch and the feel, I could look at the pictures, turn it around. Probably if it was not lying there right in front of my eyes, I wouldn't even have digitized it at the first place. So we feel that printed media brings in the sentimental value, the permanence, and also it's a nice perk for life members, so probably that drives that traffic too. And also it has these compelling visuals, like whatever digital pictures I got, I really had to enlarge or kind of make it show more, like I could see more people in it. Now, same for like when we look at digital though, on the other hand, everybody agrees that we have, right now the world is totally, it has shifted quite a bit. And we have great, like, we can scale it, right? So if it's digital, you can just share it in the website and the other things that we have, and we can, and as it scales, it becomes cost effective, because to print a thing, to send it out, it's quite a bit of money involved there. So what we decided is, due to both pros and cons, it's kind of a hybrid model. We give the option to the members whether they want a printed copy or a digitized version, and based on that we kind of build up. But regardless, we're going to build up the digital platform. I think we need rights. We have to come up with what management rights we need, how to publish and how to do it, which is not that big of a deal, but we want to continue in that direction and then go ahead.
Okay, great. Great idea.
So our question was on how to increase the membership for the association over here. So we came up with some good points, and the first one is, it comes down to creating awareness among people. So the first thing is that we have to market the advantages of joining the group, which is very important. Every person's contribution is important to increasing the membership of the association. The second one is to convert annual memberships to life memberships. That being said, a lot of people over here on annual memberships, we kind of request you to convert to life membership. Third is you have to, most of the benefits of this association, it should be, we think that it should be limited to the members only. So people will be, they'll be encouraged to actually join the group. That way, they'll be accessible to all the benefits that everyone over here can, push to all the new members. Fourth being over here, all the members should connect their classmates. Like the tag is there, you need to bring more people into the group. 5, this is an important thing, improve the web page. You improve the web page, you create profiles of every member, so everyone, like any new joinee, they know that, whom to connect with directly. You create a user ID, you create a password, and people actually get to know, if I have to find something in a particular area, I know whom to connect with. The web page should be able to show that. So that's a great thing. Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. Another thing, the college newsletter, I know a lot of alumni that I know are actually still reading the Monday morning. So, if you start from there, get someone to print about the association over here, so people will know about it. So like when I was in college, I didn't know about an association over here. So my seniors helped me get into this association, and I helped my juniors get in, but it's still on a one-by-one basis. If I had known that there's an association over here, I would have contacted people long back, and that's how you can broaden the advertising. So that way you can encourage more people to pursue graduate studies too. That way, so they'll, it can be a one-on-one, like Maya said, it can be a one-on-one basis. They know whom to contact, and you can encourage more people coming in, and that way they know about the association. If there's something else somebody wants to add. Anybody else? Yeah.
Sometimes it is not very easy to convince somebody to join the group. So you can broadly divide it into 3 categories. First set, like those are very encouraged by themselves. You just need to send them the message and they will join without much effort. And some are there a bit shy, you need to push them and you need to send them the message why they need to join the group. In that case, you need to highlight what is our achievements. Even if they need something or even if they will feel proud of to be part of this group, somehow you need to send the message by through personal contacts or through sending some links or a couple of people join, connecting the people. And the last part, those are, they are very busy in their life, they are very happy in their small friend circle, and that is the very hardest part to convince them to join. So we have to increase the awareness and highlight what we have done, and even if they don't need any help at the time being, they should feel that God forbid something happens in future, this is the association, they will really help us, or they will feel proud that our association is helping so much, I should be part of it. Okay. So that is something I wanted to add.
Great. So thank you very much. Thank you. There are a few numbers, I know it is very close.
Media coverage tantamounts to really increase of communication. And how do we increase communication? Incentivize, make it attractive. That's why I have the mic too. Okay, thank you. So we should highlight the NITROAA members or the NITROAA alumni's achievements. Secondly, I think this has been touched upon by other groups too, the membership and the benefit, incentivize, benefit, they go hand in hand. And a third and very important point is to have the partnership with our alma mater, or NIT Rourkela. And fourthly, last but not the least, student support. I mean, student support meaning students should be drawn, that hey, this is something that I want to be a part of. And how do we go about achieving this? My colleague, Alina will speak on it.
When it comes to doing actual work, he gives it to me. So our topic is media coverage, and Srivastava put our notes here. Find out a way to cover it. But basically, it's about how do you increase NITROAA coverage for media coverage for NITROAA, and we split it into what do you want to cover? And he mentioned on some of the topics, simple things like where a lot of messages come from. Somebody covered that somebody has achieved a certain status, somebody got an award, somebody wrote a book, stuff like that. Can we make that into some sort of a regular update? So how do you do that? The website, thanks to New Jersey, that's like the base. Because as of now, to be very honest, we're starting in ground zero, we have nothing. So to me, the website can be a source of all sorts of information. And then from there, we could go, it's just a step after step, right? You could form areas of interest. So yeah, you could have, let's say we're talking about achievements, we're talking about interest groups, we're talking about maybe somebody's soliciting some sort of a project or something. The idea is that as you cover these things and then you branch out to social media, you branch out to trying and reaching out to different media organizations through this, you're creating those networks and you're trying to create both a push and pull effect. So it's going to take time, but the website to us was the first and available way to go for it. And then from there go to social media, go to some of these basic stuff. Our biggest, it's all very nice to say, but I'm in marketing, I know that it's easy to start a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group, a blog and all that stuff. But after a month, if you're not updating it, it's as good as dead. You get your audience coming to you once and then they don't like what they're seeing, they're not going to come back to you because there's enough information out there. So the idea is to execute it successfully, can we have either a membership or a person who is dedicated just to collecting that information and disseminating it. So whether by creating a committee, whether by having some sort of a position who's, I don't know, call them the marketing communication position or something like that. But there needs to be a person who is actively collecting all that achievements / good news and then publishing it out and then trying to increase that, creating that basically web structure where your end goal is some media, some channel, some newspaper picks it up. Do you have any point of what's on the apps?
Yeah, thanks. Actually, what we're looking into, see, if you want to dump everything, you might not see the attention, right? So what content we need to do and how that content to go right audience, that's important. So what we want to put into the media coverage, that's very key, because based on that, you can have a certain community, certain user group, so that we are not bombarding with all the information to everybody, it gets messed up. Like people don't read that. That's one part. The second part, what are the different options, as Alina was saying, website, social media coverage, regular digital communication from the people who are doing specific activities. What we're doing also, publication in local and national media, like event like this, we should be able to publicize in local as well as national media. And also, what we need to do, maybe another way to do, quarterly newsletter, providing all this different information. And another way you can look into, we can develop an app. And in the app could be uploaded, and when you are going, let's say you are in a flight or you are at home, you want to leisurely want to see what's going on, you go to the app and you see all the event, all the things are happening. But I think key is, it's not just the idea, on all, there's a lot of good ideas, how we execute. That is the fundamental part. And Dr. Krishnan was talking about forming committee. So our suggestion from the group, we form a committee called Communication and Outreach Committee. That committee will be headed by 3 or 4 people or 2 people, chairing by one person, who will execute these things. So unless there is execution, all this discussion to go one point just to thought sharing, but I think let's take a step to execute one area, and then we can expand into different area.
Right.
So our recommendation is to NITROAA board is let's form a committee. It's called Communication and Outreach Committee, and their focus is just media coverage.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So before we go into the open questions, we probably have 7 to 8 minutes. So a couple of things, right? So the purpose of this session was we got a lot of ideas, right? So there are a lot of common themes, and those common themes will be sorted out into like top 5 or something like that. You know, we don't have time here, and we're not going to keep going on this topic long hours. So that will be again on the website, kind of a blog, kind of more of an interactions activity, and then we'll vote it. And we'll pick which one can be executed, right? Ideas are ideas, and making it an action. Even though the smallest one can be done, achieved, I think it's a big success for us. And at the end of the day, what we are looking at is, the common theme. One is the avenue. We are kind of all agreeing that website is a great avenue, right? Cheaper and cost effective and doable avenue. Second is, what is the network activity that's going on? Like, mentor, mentee, and people, somebody said, okay, they are going to go at the chapter head and communicate to increase the membership. That's where the thing comes. What's there for me? Everybody has the same question that should come. What's for me? Why should I even go there, right? So that what for me is the question we are all going to take from here to our home and then start, interacting on that topic. Third one is the funding that I think came from both angles, right? So these are the 3 major topics. I think all are kind of agreeing with that. And now I think based on this, any questions or anything coming up? I think I see a bunch of hands.
Yeah, before we get to question, I have one announcement. All the groups, as you have taken the notes around the flip charts, I would ask one of the group members to take a picture and, if possible, forward that to Pradeep or Sylvester. So we want to capture all the thought process. Easy to lose this. So in each of the groups, if you can take a picture or however you want to do that and forward it to Pradeep or Sylvester. Thank you.
So, questions? Please raise your hand. But it has to be targeted to whom, right? Yeah. So exactly the question.
So it's a kind of solution which is for the media team and the website team, and which also involves my team, which is giving back to the alma mater.
Particularly low resolution.
So we had a point of planning. I just went to Wikipedia. Am I audible? Yeah. So I just went to Wikipedia and searched NIT Rourkela. And I just saw there are only 6 alumni listed in the notable alumni listed in that website Wikipedia page, and I don't think there are only 6 alumni noted there, and we don't have any link to the overseas alumni association or any local chapter. So that can be hyperlinked over there, and that will increase the website sustainability, that will increase the media outreach, and that will also create a brand for the NIT Rourkela. So that will be my suggestion.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
I think he's raising hand for a long time.
I want to suggest something for the increased membership topic. I got a lot of offline feedback about the membership fees, as well as some situations where 2 people, like spouses, want to join together, and it looks like it's a little bit of an obstacle for them. If we can do something like a group membership discount, so that we can have 5 people or 10 people friends joining and having more people join.
Capital intensive industry is successful. I did not know such an, so it's human tendency. It's human. We have come here not to avoid, we have come here to succeed. And we want to look up to successful people. If there is a good chunk of successful people in our organization, in our alumni network, we will look up to it, happily pay the $100. Actually, I would say $100 is less. Right? It's less.
That's the value we assign to it.
That's exactly the money that we are paying is the value we are assigning. Oh, $100, kuch farak nahi padta dekho. But we are not really assigning the value. You have to be careful about not eliminating that.
Okay, we have time for maybe one question.
I have a point to make that.
And I have just one point similar to that, just to continue with what Just to continue, like everybody has ideas, right? I mean, we, by humans, we have those ideas, and just to continue to increase like what we get out of this, right? A lot of people have ideas, and I see that I met a couple of these Rakesh and a few others who have built startup companies and all, right? So a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know how to go about it, and it just died out. So that is one thing. If as a NITROAA, right, we form
the beginning state, I think that's exactly the thought process.
Gold, platinum.
Yeah, gold, platinum, blah, blah.
You guys are unnecessarily complicating stuff.
By the way,
we are not getting the basics right. We are not getting the basics right.
Nothing we have still discussed. It's nothing we have finalized, right?
By the way, these are great ideas. Could you share how you're going to execute it? I mean, we can come up with like 1,000 ideas. I think it's the execution that matters. I mean, question is like, what's the point like spending an hour if we don't have a plan to execute, right? And always like some of us are part of the other alumni as well. There's always an alumni organization in a part of the alma mater. They do that, and I mean, I want to post a job or I want to hire somebody. Who's going to do that? Do you think Manas has enough time? Can he spend full time on that? It's the platform that organization, I mean, NITRAA has to support. And we are ready to do whatever, like I want to donate. All this, like that platform somebody has to provide. And if we can take this and talk to whoever, their alumni department or something, they need to provide a platform for that.
I think they're expecting too much from that.
Then we cannot do. Then we can spend an hour on this. Nothing. It will go nowhere.
We had in Sarlo brainstorming session. Not a single idea was implemented. The reason is, when you come up with ideas, please also come up with 5 hours a month. If you are part of the solution, then it gets solved. I have seen people spending hundreds of hours. This souvenir this year, how many, everybody has received it?
Yes.
Did they like it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many hours Bihar has spent on that? I mean, you did a good job. So, that is the thing. Once you take an idea, you agree to implement it, you have to implement it, you have to take the lead. Just giving idea to somebody to implement, it doesn't happen. And so far we have come, that is a great thing, but we can go many steps further. And I was talking to people here, that okay, you are in Bentonville, Walmart headquarters. Take 5 interns every year. They can facilitate, our student group can, those who want the job. The communication happens. Once you take training in the summer for 2 months, I am sure, if you don't want to join, that's your option, otherwise you will like to join. So, let us make it happen. Not start things and then stop because you lost interest. That is what.
Yeah. So I think we have a specific segment at 5 p.m. It's a general body meeting, and that's the reason this segment was put right before that. So whatever ideas came up, questions came up, and challenges come up, that's fantastic. And GBM is the forum, then you can pose that. We're going to stick to the time. We're going to move on to the next one.
We're going to move to the next topic. So. So I know we were rushing, but we definitely want to make sure we're sticking to our time. So we have an interesting panel coming up after this one, after a coffee break, after Gary talks. So we definitely want to make sure we stick to time. And again, I appreciate all the thoughts here. Gary, whenever you are ready.
Okay, first one round of applause for all of you.
And this is a very relevant topic based on what we discussed.
I think we just did. Yeah, because he's presenting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, are you all having fun? Yeah, great. Fellow NITROAA members and friends, I have a confession to make.
And we know that.
Can we pull the blind a bit?
Yeah. You guys are hearing this for the first time. I consider myself the most luckiest man on earth.
Can hear. Gary, can you give us 10 seconds? Please, please, let's hear it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Like I said, I have a confession to make, and I consider myself the most luckiest person on earth. You all may be able. Years ago, I was one of 250 teenagers that entered REC. I had no guidance. It was a shot in the dark. It turned out to be the luckiest decision I made. I wouldn't be here without that decision. For that, that's my confession. Think about that. We all had great dreams. Going to the college 4 or 5 years. 5 years for us, 4 years for the new, of recently. And we achieved things that are, never imagined by us. So, the purpose of my speech is to inspire you why we should give back to the alma mater, and also how to maximize what we do. Okay? A couple of points. Last year, in August, in preparation for our Golden Jubilee meet, the 72 batch of entering REC, that was 50 years from 67, I had an opportunity to visit the campus. That was my first visit after 1972. And we had some great plans. So the organizing committee met with the director and senior staff. And we all had imagined we need to do something, give something back to the alma mater. There were a lot of discussion before our actual visit. There were things like plant some trees so that our name will be there. 30 years later, we'll see, oh, those trees were planted by our batch during our 50th anniversary. There were things like, maybe we should name some areas of the campus for our batch's name, 72 batch, Hall of Residence or whatever. There were even some thoughts about helping out Adivasis, to build their trees in Adivasi school, because they were very deserving. Finally, we decided, okay, maybe we should give a scholarship. So we came up with a lofty goal of 10 lakhs rupees. So we raised 10 lakhs and we'll award scholarship. We wanted it to be sustaining. It had to be perpetual so that it will be self-funded. So we thought about that. And then we went to the actual meeting. You know what we found? 10 lakhs is not going to do anything. Really. We found out that the average expense for a semester is close to 1 lakh. And 10 lakhs is not going to do anything. So we upped our goal to 50 lakhs. Somehow that we could give some scholarships that would be of meaningful value to the students. Well, I have some very good news to report to you that we were successful about that. So this year, in January 2017, 4th, 5th, and 6th, January 4th, 5th, and 6th, we had our 50th or Golden Jubilee meet. And I want to share some of those experiences. A lot of us, many of us, had not been to campus in 45 years. Okay? Look at this. When you begin, I'm sure a lot of the youngsters here, they are familiar with this. Outside Panda's, Panda's place in the back. All the guys enjoying a great time.
Lovely. And we had to show off, you know, to our wives and spouses. Back post. That was really part of our, yes, that's part of our education, right? You got to make sure that, share that with our family. Imagine us. We had an opportunity to sit in the mess hall and actually eat the food.
Looks different.
Looks different, and can you imagine, well, when we were going to school, we were not that disciplined. We were banging on the table and saying, get me the food. Look at how well disciplined we were, just anticipating. Yes, exactly.
Did they give you papaya on the table?
Exam time, right? Just before the morning of exam, we get the papaya. Yeah. And look at this. See the students going from one class to the other class. We were so inspired by the progress the campus has made. For those who have not been, some of the older ones, it is a changed place. And made us very proud of what the university is doing. And, you have to go there to believe it. One of the things we did was we recognized our teachers that are still living in rural Kerala. You can see a few of our teachers. These were our teachers that we, during our 5 years in college, we were able to recognize them, felicitate them, and believe me, that was something. These teachers not only gave us knowledge, they built, built our inner sense. They imparted not just education. They made us leaders. They gave us opportunities. They made us appreciate what we have. Okay, so it was very touching to see them.
Just for a moment, this fellow who's giving the shawl, he was CEO of something called Corex Technology of the World. Steel. He was back our gold medalist, 72 batch medalist. LDN and Sarla.
Right. Yeah. So one thing that we have to understand is giving something back, donating anything, money, time, makes us feel happy. Okay? The person that receives or the organization that receives, and when you give, there are those endorphins that activate and make you feel happy. Also, it's good for your health. It is good for your health. It drops there are studies have shown it drops your blood pressure.
Yes.
Which is a good thing for some of us. Okay. Yeah. And it promotes cooperation and social connection. Now, giving to alma mater, you get a connection with the alma mater. You get connected with other alumni members. You build that social connection. Okay? So these are some of the good reasons why we should donate. Now I'm going to talk about some ways of maximizing our donation. So the 72 batch, like I said, established the 72 batch Alumni Endowment Scholarship. What it did is it's perpetual, in the sense what we would do would fund 50 lakhs, and then we would invest it. The return that we get out of that, we'll set aside a portion to add back to the principal so that it will adjust for inflation. So once it's set up, and with the remaining we'll give out the scholarship. Okay? So once it's set up, the scholarship is administered by the university. Money goes to a fund, a bank account that is maintained by the university. The selection process is done by the university. We do have one member from our alumni that participates in the selection process. So that's, in other words, we let the university make the decision on who are the right candidates and award the scholarship. Okay? So, established during our Golden Jubilee meet. Now, so far they funded, we could not raise the 50 yet, but they funded 41 lakhs. And the scholarship was finalized in April, and the university sent out the information to the students. 95 students applied in a matter of within 2 months. 95 students applied from 2nd, 4th, and 6th semester batches. Okay? What does that tell us? That tells us there is a tremendous need. We all, when the scholarship was being set up, some of my classmates, my batchmates, they said, if you get an admission into NIT, you're well off. There's no need for, there are not students that are going to come in if they cannot afford. This doesn't show you that. If we had opened it for all the 6 semesters, we would have got close to 200 or even more at this rate. Okay? So we awarded 3 scholarships, starting for the 3rd, 5th, and 7th, and if they have other siblings, there are other expenses. So there is a definite need. So I wanted to share with you that that was our proudest moment. We had a vision, and we worked tirelessly fundraising, and we were able to, this is the first check of I think 20 lakhs, so it is a reality. So I want to show you the 3 students who did receive the scholarship. 3rd semester, Chandan Verma, civil engineering from Saigon, Assam. He also has a brother. 5th semester, Dinesh Kumar Patra, electrical engineering from Bhubaneswar, and another brother who also goes to NIT, Raurkela. And the 7th semester recipient, Ganivara Ramu from Vizag, electrical engineering, also has an older sister. So what our intention is to keep following these students, understand how they do, and then report back to see what they do, so that those who have contributed feel like they get some feedback. How to maximize what we give. So whenever you donate, now you can write a check, or you can pay by credit card, PayPal, whatever you can give, right? I'm going to talk about a couple of ways on how we can maximize your giving. One is to make a qualified charitable distribution, or second one is donate appreciated stock. Okay? Qualified charitable distribution. These are for those who are 70 and a half years or older. So they have individual retirement accounts, and they have, the IRS requires that you make a required minimum distribution. Sometimes they call it required minimum distribution. You may have heard it as minimum required distribution. Same thing, RMD or MRD. And you are required to withdraw certain amount of money mandatory from your IRAs, your retirement accounts, starting at the age of 70 and a half. So this qualifies as a RMD. Normally what happens is, if you're not contributing to a charity or donating money, you would take a required minimum distribution, let's say, based on how much fund you have, how much money in your retirement, and an actuarial table that shows how long you're going to live. So typically, let's say 70 and a half, it's about 25 years maximum. So whatever amount you have divided by 25, pretty much is a rough number of what you have to withdraw that year, and every year from that on. Okay. So you will withdraw the money, now it becomes taxable income, and then it is, it goes into just a gross income, you pay tax. But if you do a qualified charitable distribution, it bypasses the taxable part of it. Okay, so it is not reported as part of the adjusted gross income. So that's a huge thing, because adjusted gross income is a trigger for a lot of different additional things that kick in. For example, alternative minimum tax that kicks in based on adjusted gross income. Other items like additional tax for Medicare, for Obamacare, for example, is another 2.4 some percentage that kicks in based on the amount of AGI. And then the third example is when you go into Medicare, your Medicare premium is also going to be based on your adjusted gross income. So if someone has below the threshold, their monthly premium rate is so much. As soon as they exceed a higher number, the premium goes up too for that whole year. Okay? So any way you can reduce your adjusted gross income, it helps in various other ways. So here you have an opportunity to make a qualified charitable distribution. The money has to go directly from your institution that holds your retirement account to the charity. So let's say that you want to contribute to NITROAA, then that has to be done in that manner. Okay? And there is no need to itemize. So for some instances, if you don't have enough money, if you don't have enough AGI to itemize, this benefits you. The second method is to donate appreciated stock. A lot of people may have made a windfall. You know, they got a stock and it was, say, $5, and it held it for a long time as $100. So if you sell, you have a capital gain of 100 minus 5, $95, and you have to pay capital gains tax. But if you donate the appreciated stock, then you will be able to, first you have to itemize, okay? Then if you donate the appreciated stock, you will be able to gain full benefit of the fair market value. So if you donate the stock, it will be valued at $100 rather than $5 that you actually bought. And you avoid paying the capital gains tax. Okay, avoid capital gains tax. To do this, there is a little more requirement. IRS requires that you have a backup letter from the receiving organization, like in this case NITROAA. Make sure that there is a letter in file, that they have actually received it. All that has to be done before the end of the year, before the end of December 31st. So what you have to do is to start the process early. Don't wait till the 30th or 31st of the year and then try to do this, in which case obviously it's not going to happen. So start early. So these are couple of ways, because some of us are in the sixth year, getting up to the required minimum distribution, want to start thinking about that. Some have made a lot of money in capital appreciation of stocks that they own. Might be one able to do some of that and get charitable distribution. That will help, help with your giving. Okay? All my presentation assumes that one of us wants to give. If the intention is not to give money, then none of this applies. It's all personal choice. But if you have a mindset that I want to give money, doing these things would help you maximize your giving. Because one way that you may have, let's say that you cashed the stock, now you paid capital gain of $95. If you didn't, if you use donating the appreciated stock, you bypass all that and you give the money anyway, the same amount of money, but you didn't have to pay the capital gain stock. Okay? So, in summary, I want to say that the expenses, what you learned, the average semester expense for an undergraduate degree, about 1 lakh per semester. Right? Also, so that means we know from the application we got, that's at least one data point, that there is a definite need, real need to help the students. Okay? And what happens is once the donations come, once these, the word gets around, we give the alma mater, it increases its value. Okay? When alumni contribute generously, we empower others, organizations, etc., to make their contribution if our donations, our contributions are publicized. Okay? And our donations are not to be considered simply as to etch our names or not. In other words, our names shouldn't be there. You should be thinking about the recipient, the students, how we can help them gain what they have to gain to where we have become like this now. Okay? Give something back. It's our way of doing Thanksgiving to our alma mater. Okay? So, here's what a call for action for you all. Let's give 20 scholarships. Well, we gave 3, and it's all set up. The good thing about it is, it's all set up, all we have to do is just fund it, and we can give more scholarships. Okay? And up it to 50,000 rupees per semester. Okay? So what do we need? If it had to be sustaining and it has to be self-funded, we need 3 crores in principle. Well, we have 41 lakhs, so we do have a gap, 260 lakhs. But we have the advantage of 65, close to 65 rupees to $1 exchange rate. Okay? And we have the strength of NITROAA. We have 370 members. Okay? So, we also have benefit of tax reductions. So, if you donate it through NITROAA, which is a non-profit organization, you get tax benefits, and you can get your tax deductions on that. So, it should be achievable. The good part is, this is not as 1972 batch alone initiative. We started it, and we have put something together that's workable, it's going to be self-sustaining, but we can make it into a phenomenal scholarship scheme in the, by giving out real value to the prospective students. As you heard earlier, the President said that I have submitted an initiative for NITROAA board approval for accepting funds and dispersing into the university. And in our scheme that we set up, we already have a provision in there to say that it doesn't have to be only 72 batch. And it also already has it to say that the name can be changed to Alumni Endowment Scholarship. Okay? So it's all set. We thought about this, and we've already put it in the charter, into the documentation. And so that part is already taken care of. I've been working with all my classmates through WhatsApp and all, letting them know we're doing this, and they're all for it. Nobody's going to, there's always going to be someone who says, wow, we need our name in there. But we have to see, we're not going to take our name to the grave, okay? We're going to leave a legacy for our students, for the students that are in great need. So I have, on this table, I have that blue sheets, which I'm happy that it came to some use while preparing for the brainstorming session. But if you turn it around in the back, I do have it's a pledge form. What I'd like you to do, yes, that's right, yeah. Go ahead and make your pledge. We're not making any commitment of paying it today, because we have still got to get through the process being set up. And once that's done, I'll be happy to collect them, tally them, make everybody aware of what we have already accomplished today. And let's, for starters, let's see for today, by end of this conference, let's see if we can raise $10,000. Okay? That should be fairly easy. I have some good news. I already have $1,000 committed, 500 from a close friend of ours. You all know Dr. Devan Das. He has already committed 500. I've also committed $500. So that's 1,000 already. Did I say 10,000? No. I meant 100,000. 10,000 is really. I meant 100,000. That's it. Yes. Yeah, I misspoke. I meant 100,000. So with that, let's do what we can to help those students. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Oh, this is brilliant, guys. I have a comment to make. I think this is brilliant. I think I'm really glad that you're on the podium standing saying everything that you said. I think all of us know getting into NIT is really not a selection process. It is an elimination process, right? So actually, if you get into NIT, there are so many people who are actually not getting into NIT. There are so many people who can, only so many people who can get into NIT. So I think I don't know, the word donation is probably something I do not completely agree, because I think all of us owe to our alma mater to a great extent. It's not a donation. You get a loan from a bank, $100,000 loan from a bank, let's say for a project. If the project fails, you're not going to pay back to the bank. But if your project is successful, you are going to pay to the bank with interest. And that is exactly what we people here in the US are going to do. So this donation is probably not a donation, but at least giving back your dues to the college. So the give and take, I think it's okay. But I think let's keep our hand like this, not like this, and continue doing what we are doing. People in this room will be eventually responsible for growing this organization, I can tell you that. If we continue talking about, okay, what am I going to get out of this organization, we will be only this much 3 years later. If we start talking about what can I give to this organization, we'll be in a bigger room 3 years from now.
Well said.
Thank you.
Endowment fund, this endowment fund, as of now we have, the scholarships that we have dispersed right now has been to existing students, incoming students. Is this going to be the only way the scholarship works, or something like if somebody is a master's student or just can't deal with funds but has admission, let's say, to some high-end college here, is that something the endowment would also look at it, or are we looking only at the NITROAA students who are coming in?
Okay, so to answer your question, the question is this endowment fund only for undergraduate students or for other students? Right? Masters or PhD, other students. This endowment fund we have set up is only for bachelor students. Okay, because first of all, remember now, we started with the aim of 10 lakhs. And then how many, we said, okay, we could probably give 2 scholarships, and then we raised it to 50 lakhs. So the goal is that, but it does not mean that we cannot amend it in the future. We do have a clause in there to say that this scholarship can be amended to adjust for any other future needs. Okay? Yes, so answer your question, bachelor's only now, or we can change it if we need to.
So my question is, who are the trustees of this particular endowment? That is one. Number 2, if they are not the NITROAA board, if they are not the trustees of this, is there a plan to move this under the fold of NITROAA, where NITROAA actually runs this, and this is not a one-off, a separate fund that is running on its own? Because that kind of branding would be much more more compelling for people here to actually give.
Okay. All right. The trustee, this fund is administered by NIT, not by NITROAA. This is administered by the university. Okay? And so the account is maintained by university. They provide input. We have a contact. Dr. Devin Das is the liaison that working between the alumni and the university. So he gets frequent input on what additional contributions are coming, get statements, things like that. So it is not NITROAA, it is NIT. The selection is done by NITROAA board, NIT, including the director, their head of departments, etc. They have a selection committee, including one representative from the alumni, from the students. Okay. And the third question was, is there a plan to? Is NITROAA going to be part of? No. The answer to that is NITROAA will basically be the conduit to fund the scholarship fund. It's not only open to NITROAA, it is actually going to be open to any NIT student, that's any alumni that's living in India also, or other parts of the world. But here we do have a unique advantage of a 65 or whatever rupees to $1 in that range, and we have the opportunity to help our alma mater. It's really the final part is provide help to the students. It's the name of NITROAA or NIT or the batch doesn't really come into the picture to help the students.
Maybe you can ask a question during the coffee break. We'll have a coffee break coming up soon, and we have something more to that. So
I need to add a clarification after all the questions.
Okay. So there is one thing that we need to just finish with Gary, and then during coffee break, ask him as many questions as you want. Okay. So
no problem. I'm not going anywhere.
One small thing I want to ask. Who administers the fund?
NIT, yes. Yeah, not the NITROAA, just like I mentioned, NIT does that.
Yes. Right. So Gary, we recognize your intentions in making the migration, the journey to digital on paper. You're the first one who came forward with it. And to recognize, we have received something from Dr. Jana and the convention team. Thank you. definitely ask him all the questions you want.
Before any questions, any official clarification? Official clarification.
So we had spoken to Dr. Gary Krishnan about this.